student MILMD1603, and this is my Twitter portfolio video reflection for class ALC 105. Throughout this video, I'll review memorable lessons I've learned regarding digital media's current impact on the world and its endless possibilities. Whilst researching futuristic possibilities for augmented reality, I came across something that stood out to me. Technology experts believe there is plenty of growth for augmented reality and that it may revolutionise the retail sector, where the technology will breach the gap between online and physical shops, offering a richer experience and personalised promotions delivered right to the user. Computer games and mobile phones are another important and likely area for growth in augmented reality. I always expected augmented reality to shift to gaming, as I've seen prototypes and the gaming world has been a buzz about the idea for years now. But I never considered using augmented reality for real-world situations like retail shopping. If that does come into effect and has some success, there's no telling where it'd stop. Along the same lines as augmented reality, I considered what's next in artificial intelligence, and one of the theories shocked me. 4 experts believe there will be advances in algorithms that are capable of improving their programming on their own. One expert is considering how to effectively teach the machines to self-program, as he predicts a major shake-up in employment that is unprecedented since the 1930s. Ever since the invention of the robot, humans have shared the fear that one day we may be overrun by them. We see this in many horror and sci-fi films. With technology advancing at a rate that most people can't comprehend, it's not unrealistic to think that robots may shake up the workplace like a few experts have predicted, especially if they can continually improve their programming on their own. The thought is scary, and if they'll learn to think for themselves as well, just like the horror movies, maybe they'll consider humans irrelevant. Another topic I found fascinating was morphology. Expecting to see social and emotional changes, I learned that through this new digital age, we can also change physically in a variety of ways. A neuroscientist states that the brain goes on developing, changing, and is shaped by what we do to it in our everyday life. The brain is malleable, not just in early childhood, but right up to early adulthood, and in certain instances, beyond. There are so many shocks to our system, including pharmaceutical drugs, television, video games, MP3 players, the internet, Bluetooth links, the list goes on and on. Our brains are under such widespread attack from the modern world, there's a danger that the cherished sense of self could be diminished or even lost. Another way in which we can physically change with assistance from the digital age is through a concept titled augmented humans. This is essentially technology created to help the disabled or people with other health concerns like being blind, for example, to enable them to live longer, healthier and happier lives. People who have lost limbs are able to have new ones printed out for them with a 3D printer. Others are able to see, hear or even walk for the first time thanks to these advances in technology. I was aware of the dangers that our sense of selves could be diminished or lost due to the excessive use of new age technology, but it stunned me that it can literally shape our brains up into adulthood. The studies on this in the upcoming years will be absolutely fascinating to see how severely we are damaging the brain and what impact it has. The concept of augmented humans wasn't entirely new to me. The thing that stood out was the notion that we can print out prosthetic limbs and attach them as simple as that. The level of ease and convenience for such a serious issue is overwhelming, and it will be interesting to see how this progresses. Finally, researchers and neuroscientists have established 6 major ways digital media impacts the brain. These consist of attention. For example, digital media encourages us to multitask, and this has a profound effect on the way we think. It becomes harder to sustain attention, to think about one thing for a long period of time, and to engage in deep thinking. Number 2 is memory. We are becoming reliant on the internet for information, and studies show that when people believe they'll find information easily online, they're less likely to remember it. Number 3 is thought. Reading on digital platforms might make you more inclined to focus on concrete details rather than interpreting information more abstractly. Number 4 is empathy. A study shows the more distracted you are, the less able you are to experience empathy. This kind of culture of constant distraction undermines not only the attentiveness that leads to deep thoughts, but also the attentiveness that leads to deep connections with other people. Number 5 is meta-awareness. Some studies suggest that heavy digital media use leads to a loss of cognitive control, not just a loss of attention, but a loss of our ability to control our mind and what we think about. And finally, number 6 is attitude. Hundreds of clinical studies show that screens increase depression, anxiety and aggression, and can even lead to psychotic-like features where the video gamer loses touch with reality. I'd assumed some of these to be the case, like our attention, memory, thought and attitude to all take a negative toll due to our level of digital media consumption. However, I was unaware that it was affecting our ability to empathise with others and enabling us to lose our ability to control our minds and what we think about at times. If that's the case now, once we progress to virtual reality, augmented reality, and other intense futuristic advances, it will be interesting to see how our minds cope with that level of strain. To conclude, it seems we have entered this digital age faster than anyone was prepared for. Though all these advancements are more convenient, often cheaper, more efficient, and take up less space than their predecessors, we've found that humans have become overly dependent on these new technologies, and our excessive exposure to them could be quite harmful to our mental health. There are endless possibilities on the horizon going forward in the tech world. However, it may be important for us to slow down and consider what effects they are having on our health and where we're heading as a society first.